John, I've always, whenever I talk music and gotten back to the 50s music, I've always started the debate on who the real king of rock and roll was. I mean, Elvis, I understand Elvis was the icon. He was the guy on Ed Sullivan. He was the guy that made it okay for white kids to like rock and roll. But Chuck Berry was rock and roll. As I think New York Magazine said, he invented the idea of rock and roll. He was an extraordinary rock and roll singer. George Thorogood, the only thing you may ever hear me quoted from George Thorogood was the unbelievable line, "Why would I write any songs about rock and roll when Chuck Berry's already written all the great ones?" And John Lennon said, if they had to rename rock and roll, they'd probably just call it Chuck Berry.
Yeah. I mean, look, you think about the translation, when blues, rhythm and blues, and country music all kind of came together, there are a bunch of people at the center of that story. And, Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, really important figures.
Right.
The thing one of the differences was Chuck Berry played the guitar, and a lot of those other guys were piano players. He was a brilliant writer of incredible lyric. It's like one of the great, a poet of the highest order.
He really was.
And then the sound, right? There's literally nothing that any rock guitarist has ever played since Chuck Berry that is not partly Chuck Berry. The core riffs of the songs that we've been talking about here are the base of the genetic code for every great rock guitarist thereafter. He's in everything that's happened in rock and roll.
And in the genetic code of the three bands of the 1960s who changed everything. The Beach Boys, they just lifted the song straight out. Of course, the Rolling Stones.
And the Beatles.
Remember Get Your Ya-Ya's out, live album in 1970, 71. They had 10 songs on the album. 2 of them were Chuck Berry covers. And then, of course, the Beatles, who, Roll Over Beethoven was...
Well, and for much of the time they were the Cavern Club. It was all they were playing was Chuck Berry. Just doing Chuck Berry covers for the better part of their formative period as a band.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.